Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot coming at you with the weekly comic book roundup. I know we're later than usual. I had a Hero tournament yesterday that there's actually a brilliant team video on, considering the team that I ran. You should check it out if you haven't. But I figured since I wasn't entirely sure how long the tournament was going to take, it took went a lot shorter than I expected it to. But I just postponed things for a day. So, let's get started, shall we? Kicking things off, we've got Immortal X-Men number 6. Continuing the title's tie-ins to Avengers X-Men Eternal's Judgment Day. And also continuing the trend of issues of Immortal X-Men focusing on a specific member of the Hellfire Club. Or not the Immortal X-Men. Oops. But we see things such as the Sinister communicating with Destiny about. Also, some notes that Destiny made about how Council would potentially vote. So it shows the whole event. We also get we also get Destiny being judged with the Celestial appearing as Mystique. A quote from Thomas Aquinas, then kick off the rest of the issue. We also see Emma being judged, it seems, by the students who have died under her watch. But she failed, as did Destiny. Turns out Kate was also judged, passed, and passed. Xavier's not too happy with the fact that the vote to deal with the Celestial was done while he was incapacitated. We get some flashbacks to Shaw's past and dealing with his father, and then him dealing with the aftermath of his father's death. But the Celestial then comes to judge Exodus, casting them all into an illusion of being in hellscape. Exodus is pulled out by Shaw, who then explains he's going to be in New York trying to make alliances, essentially with the help of Pierce. Or not Pierce, but Harry Leland. He's then judged, with the Celestial appearing as Emma, and well, he doesn't care how he's judged. In New York, at the Hellfire Club, at the former Hellfire Club building, Shaw meets with a potential ally. Eros of the Eternals. Both want to, end hostility. Both in the hope, Eros wants to end hostilities, and Shaw sees the benefit in this as well. So, but Shaw then also does that arcane ritual. And ends up summoning forth Mother Righteous. And that is where the issue ends. Interesting to see Mother Righteous appearing in a different X-Men book than Legion of X. Something I've noticed, a trend I've noticed for quite some time is that usually if a villain, especially a villain, if a villain is dealing with a specific group of heroes, the characters from a specific book within a larger line of focusing on that one group, or on like if a villain appears in an X-Men book in X-Force, chances are that unless there's a crossover between X-Force and say X-Men, that X-Force villain will only be appearing in X-Force. But Legion of X, and by to be clear, I also kind of bring up the fact, the concept of if it's a line-wide crossover, such as Judgment Day is, that's not kind of what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about would be a 4-part storyline where part 1 is an X-Men, 2 is X-Force, 3 X-Men, 4 X-Force, something like that. Or like the old X-Men crossovers of the 90s, such as Extinction Agenda, which focused on the 4 primary X-Men titles at the time, and so on and so forth. Anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Marauders number 6. Where we left off, the Marauders had returned from space, and shortly after their return, they had all Cerebro, the X-Men, the 2099 X-Men, had been brought to the present by Cable at her injury she sustained while fighting at the Celestial Garden in Spider-Man 2099 Exodus. But a former devotee of the Theater of Pain is being surreptitiously watched by Lockheed. However, an odd rat with a big red smiley face on the back, notes Lockheed's presence. On Krakoa, we get a rundown of what's happened. While Uranos did attack Arakko and laid waste to the place, quite a few of the Iraqi managed to get to the gates to evacuate, with many having gone to the altar. Then we get a note from Aurora to Kate, basically saying that she's been working with the recently resurrected psychic mutant Birdie, who used to work with Sabretooth until Sabretooth's son killed her. And Aurora suggests that perhaps all of the Marauders could benefit from a session with Birdie. And so we see the judgment that has been delivered to the various Marauders. Bishop is judged, but the Celestial takes the form of Malcolm and Randall, the XSE soldiers that came to the present with Bishop way back in the Uncanny 282. Basically saying, hey, you've been resurrected multiple times. Why haven't we been resurrected? Then he explains it's because he doesn't feel that he's made the world, into something he wants them. He doesn't feel that the world is worthy of them, basically. Aurora and her alters deal with an enemy a past enemy of hers. Tempo is judged by Sumo, whom it turns out she had feelings for. Sumo was a member of the Mutant Liberation Front. As I recall, he didn't have too many appearances. He was killed in X-Force number 1 by Cable. But we find out that apparently there was during a Mutant Liberation Front attack where X-Force intervened, a group of anti-mutant terrorists decided, hey, kill both teams. And Tempo managed to, with the help of Tempo and Sumo, managed to save the day. And then it was just that they, run things back and prevent the attack from even happening. And then Sumo got shot in the head. Apparently, though, Tempo means to put Sumo in for resurrection. Psylocke is then judged. Initially, the Celestial took the form of Sinister, and then took the form of her daughter. Somnus is judged with the Celestial taking the form of Northstar. Largely, in some ways, he's judged largely for having lived in the closet as much as he did, for as long as he did. Daken is judged by himself. A recurring theme is kind of I'm judged all the time. I know that, but it's the venue base does make it a little harder to deal with emotionally. But the mutants of Morocco are freed. It should be noted that since Legion died, the Alter's in a bit of chaos. And then we discover that the events of going on are being the overall events are being monitored by Orcus, and we learn the identity of another of the Orcus higher ups, former Spider-Man villain Judas Traveler, which does lead me to wonder if Traveler will be involved in the upcoming Dark Web crossover. There's also a letter from Cerebra to Kate, basically saying, "Hey, I can help with resurrecting the survivors of Threshold." Just a second. Alright, no more disruptions. Moving on to our next book, we've got Wolverine number 24. Also tying into Judgment Day, but also setting up future arcs for Wolverine. Logan's been through the ringer, but he gets judged with the Celestial taking the form of all of those he's killed. And kind of has I've killed. And not always for good reasons. In Hell, the daughter of the Beast wishes to avenge her husband-to-be, who was killed by Wolverine and Solem back during Ten of Swords. And she intends to... And so she goes after Solem first, who escapes, leaving his partners to the daughter of the Beast and her hordes. However, the daughter of the Beast is visited by the Celestial, taking the form of her father, the Beast. Back on the moon at the summer house, Solem is waiting for Wolverine. Explains to him what's going on. That hey, we might need to work together. But Wolverine's wanted to make sure that once this is done, that Solem And he'll have both of the Muramasa blades himself. After they leave, the daughter of the beast arrives. And she begins to form a plan. And the North Pole it seems that the Celestials made a ice golem of itself to deal with some on the failed path. And that is where the issue ends. But yeah, Wolverine basically this kind of stuff. Yeah, I've killed people. Wasn't always right to do. Maybe I wasn't always in control when I did it, but yeah. So, moving on to our next book, we've got Death of the Mutants #2. This issue, we get Crow being judged. When he tells the Celestial to... When he kind of tells the Celestial to eat a dick, he gets... the Celestial kind of says, okay, fine, thumbs up. But we've got a civilian-based story focusing on a young woman in London by the name of Sally. She's a poet. She's texting. She's texting another poet who, very smart, but it's not apparently not too well read. And the Hex continues their attack on Krakoa. The machine in its Earth contemplates the fact that the Deviants were able to use the Krakoan gates without issue. So, we also learn but there's a breakdown of the first battle of the Progenitor. Like I said, Crow's judgment. Druid watching as two of the Eternal twins are who have been judged unworthy fight each other. Uranos is visited by the Progenitor, but the Progenitor opts to withhold judgment. A podium is made to potentially allow the Eternals to speak to the god, to the Progenitor. The Progenitor then judges some of the Eternals. Phastos is judged passes the judgment. Makari fails. Ajax and Icarus will also be deferred upon for now. We also see more of Jack of Knives breaking it, and Cersei breaking Star Fox out. Apparently before leaving the exclusion, Star Fox visited his mother. The Progenitor has come to his mother and declined to judge. Apparently, even with Thanos on her tally, her worth has not been decided. Sally, the young woman from the UK, is judged. She fails. And it turns out that the poet she's talking with is, in fact, one of the members of the Hex. And that is where the issue ends. Interesting. Interesting. It was good to see a lot of the judgment sequences. I'm kind of liking the focus on them of late. Moving on to our last week's moment, we've got New Fantastic Four #4. Where we left off, yeah, the new FF we're dealing with, among other things, a demonically possessed Human Torch. And Father Priest was had rescued Ghost Rider from the sewers of Las Vegas. While the two of them escape, they run into Mephisto himself, and it turns out that well, we'll get to that in a second. So it's explained that while one of the demons is possessing Human Torch, no matter what happens, he can't die. So Wolverine figures out, so I can just cut him apart, and we'll have a whole bunch of little living pieces of him. Torch soul burns him again, but Wolverine's going to say, yeah, we'll kill him. They had it coming. And he manages to do some physical damage to Torch, but it's promptly re-healed. Hulk shows up, and it turns out that Father Priest is in fact the son of Mephisto. His mother was to be a nun, a novice, and she went to speak with, but she was dealing with her own inner demons, namely of the carnal variety, and Mephisto took the form of a priest and convinced her to give in to those inner demons. She went down to Texas, had the baby, and gave it up at a church. But it turns out that everything's happening because of the alignment of the planets. But Mephisto wants his son to swear loyalty to him. Well, the father's like, nope. Ghost Rider shows up and spirits him away. Torch once again reforms, tries to go Nova, but the rest of the actual FF shows up with Invisible Woman putting Human Torch in a force bubble, which the oxygen in which is promptly burned out. So, but Mephisto then summons forth a giant demon, Saturnine, the guardian of lost souls. And that is where the issue ends. This is just a fun mini. I'm really enjoying it. So, but that is going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.